What's up everyone? If you're here, you don't like your Blender models and you want to improve them. No big deal. So a big problem a lot of people have with their models is they just don't focus on topology enough. So I'm going to show you guys how to do that. To start, let's model this little French fry holder up here just so we have a model to work with. So I'm going to add in a cube. Let's make it a little bit longer, a little bit skinnier as well, then way taller. Let's add like 5 loop cuts right here. Just going to grab all of these. Okay, and try to recreate that curve a little bit in the picture. Okay, that's close enough. Yeah, that'll work for the video. So what a lot of people do is they'll model something like this, and then, I don't know, they'll like take an extra edge loop or something, they'll duplicate it, bring it out, and I don't know, like extrude it in. Like they'll have little overlapping faces like that. Or I don't know, they'll take another face here and just like extrude it into the rest of the cube. They'll have like these little overlapping faces and stuff. And it's really hard to notice them. Like, it's hard to notice when like you're doing something wrong or you're just kind of messing up edge loops, making random things overlap. And you don't notice you're doing anything wrong because like when you're back in object mode, the model still looks fine. Like the topology is fine. And you think like, oh, okay, this will work for a game. Like it looks totally good. Like this model, there's really not many problems with it. But then the second you get up close, you can see like, this shouldn't be here. I like to think of 3D models as completely watertight. Like if you threw them, I don't know, into some giant pool, like no water would go inside of them. Every face should just be like flat, nice and tight against one another. There shouldn't be like any of this business happening where there's like tears in the faces. Like all the faces should be, yeah, like these back ones, like they're just perfectly connected like that. So what I'm going to show you in today's video is how to fix these tears and stuff so you actually have good topology. So preventing them is a whole other story. You have to get better at modeling for that. I don't know what to tell you, but we can fix them pretty easily. So obviously go into vertex select mode and edit mode first. Select this magnet icon at the top, then in the menu next to it, go to vertex. And now this button up here, auto merge vertices, we're going to select that. So what we've turned on is vertex snapping. So now when you select a vertice and you move it around, it'll automatically snap to nearby vertices. Like it'll perfectly cover the other ones. It's really handy. And then auto merge means if 2 vertices are stacked on top of one another, they will turn into 1 vertice. So now if we just grab our vertices, we can essentially stack them on top of one another until we get rid of all the overlapping edges. Let's do it to the ones up top. Now the bottom ones as well. What do we got down here? Yep, this one. Oh yeah, this one. You come up here. You go right there. Let's see. Then this whole edge loop is duplicated. So you can come in here. I'm just pressing G on my keyboard to move these and just moving them close to the other ones and left clicking. And you can see just by doing that, I'm going to turn off snapping now. Now I select these vertices and move them around. You can see there's no more overlapping vertices. I mean, the ones inside are just part of the solidify modifier, but the ones on the outside are perfectly fine now, and they look normal. Now the ones up front, same thing, turn snapping back on, bring you down here, bring these guys down here. I think that was all of them, yeah. Now this side, snap you into there, and essentially what we're gonna do is just merge vertices inside of one another until eventually your mesh is completely airtight, like I was talking about before. All 3D modeling is really just manipulating vertices until they look good to some point. So we can see we'll have a couple extra like edges and stuff up here as well. All you can do is click on them, right click, and just hit, where is it, dissolve edges, and it'll make them disappear if you've got like spare edges and crap. So fixing topology on models and stuff like that is really pretty easy. There's not a whole lot to it. It's just, remember, merge vertices, dissolve extra edges, and just try to make the mesh look airtight. So if you drop it in water, nothing's going to leak in there. A lot of times meshes will look fine on the outside, but what makes them like inferior, what makes it so people aren't going to buy them, is the topology. So yeah, be sure you fix that. Another example, let's take this giant innocent looking can of beans back here. We'll try to model it real quick. So what a lot of people do is they see, okay, round cylinder here. I'm going to go to my cylinder settings and give it a ton of vertices so it looks round. Don't do this, please. A classic mistake when it comes to making really good models is adding too many vertices. So let's take this guy down to, I don't know, something ridiculous like 8 vertices. But now all you have to do is shade it smooth and auto smooth it and crank up the angle and it'll look fine, and we saved like 700 tries on that. Now we'll just make you a little bit bigger. I don't know, a little bevel on the outside for the edge. Then it looks like have a little indent there. This whole bit comes in, can come down as well. I don't know, maybe extrude this in, bring you up, something like that. And we'll just give the bottom a bevel as well. I like that. Okay. Inset you once and twice. Proportional editing, and bring you up like a can. The point I'm trying to make is you can make a really sick looking mesh. Like, I mean, obviously this isn't perfect, but it would be fine for like the object in like the background of a game or something like that. You can make them with barely any vertices. A lot of the times people make the mistake of thinking, oh, to make a perfect mesh, I gotta give it a ton of vertices. But then if it has like 20,000 tries, you're not gonna be able to use it for like a game or anything like that, or you're not gonna be able to animate it because it's just so heavy on tries that like it's gonna lag the game engine and it's not gonna be usable. So pay attention to how many vertices you're using. Make sure like when you're adding a cylinder, you only give it 8 sides. Don't subdivide anything unless you have to. Avoid, let me give an example. Scale you in. Avoid extra edge loops like this. Like, don't look at this model and say, oh, it's done, because, you know, there's 2 edge loops here that don't need to be there. So we just click on those and once again dissolve edges. And what is that? We saved, 30 tries down below. And that's what we're looking for. 2 biggest things to make your Blender models not suck as much. Just, save on vertices. Don't give subdivision surface, 1,000,000 subdivisions. 250,000 tries. You can't use that for anything. So don't give your mesh like a ton of vertices. Obviously keep it nice and simple, but I mean not too simple. Like this is kind of low poly even for the example. And then obviously don't have too many topology errors, like no broken faces. I mean, if you just press V on your keyboard, you can get a pretty good example of splitting a vertex from the rest of the mesh. You don't want that. Just make sure everything is completely tight and looking nice. Pay attention to symmetry as well. A lot of the times what can help with that is the mirror modifier. Like you add in a cube, let me put my cursor back to the center. You add in a cube, I don't know, set origin to 3D cursor, and now if you mirror it, you can just get perfect symmetry along the y-axis. So it's little things like that, just the aesthetics of the mesh, the way the faces line up, all of that plays into how the actual mesh looks and how developers are going to handle it, how much they're going to pay you for it. So having your model suck less doesn't come down to as much like how the model looks, but just how the model functions. Like if I gave this model to a developer, would he even be able to use it for a game? Like take this sick looking monkey head for example. It looks really cool, really smooth, really nice. You would want to sell this to someone, use it for a game maybe, but it has 1,000,000 tries, so no game engine is going to be able to handle that, or maybe a couple, but it's still going to be really laggy. I mean, if I go into edit mode right now, like, you can see how many freaking vertices this is carrying. So be wary of that. Don't have ridiculously high poly meshes. And hopefully following these tips, you guys will be able to make nice, clean meshes. Your meshes are going to be so clean, you could mop a floor with them. So get out there, make some sick 3D models, and yeah, I'll see y'all later.